I'm gonna expose myself here. I do love Genshin Impact, but I also hate it. It's a love-hate relationship, and if you've played Genshin for a while like I have, I'm sure you can relate. I originally got into Genshin during the pandemic, a few days before Zhao's first banner started. My best friend was telling me about the game and how much fun he was having, saying I should try it too. I saw a few videos about it, saw it was free, and before I knew it, I was already downloading the game. I remember my first 3 days playing pretty well. I played literally all day, non-stop. I was having so much fun using my shitty team where none of them synergized with each other at all. But it didn't matter. The world was so magical, there was so much to do, and the characters were so charming. It made me wanna log on every day. One of my good friends today, actually, I met because of Genshin. I was in my engineering class and saw someone with Hutao as their computer background. So during a conversation with them, I mentioned it and asked if they played. They said yes, and the rest is history. During that time, I didn't think I would ever stop playing Genshin. It was so fun, doing anything and it was so fun. I was having so much fun. Was. What's good, boys? If you can't already tell, this is gonna be a pretty different video from what I normally make. I mostly just want to talk about the current state of Genshin and my experience with the game in a video essay style. It's no secret that Genshin burnout is a really common case, but I feel like it goes much deeper than just getting bored of the game after playing it so much. So, I'm going to talk about it, reasons why Genshin doesn't feel the same and why I'm quitting the game after 1,000+ days of playing it. Subscribe and enjoy the video. Let's get this out of the way. This is not a Verisa hate video. I am actually one of the people that like her. In fact, I like pretty much all the characters in this game. It's honestly the main reason I play. They all have something cool about them. Okay, most characters. But this part isn't even about character design or anything. I mostly wanted to talk about the how and why you get characters. So, first of all, Genshin is a gacha game, where you roll for your favorite waifus and husbandos. To get primos to roll for said characters, you have to play the game. I'm gonna do the math for getting a 5-star here, since saying this out loud made me realize just how ridiculous it is. Soft pity starts at 76, so let's say you're always getting the best soft pity luck and you're getting a 5-star as soon as you hit it. 76 times 160 primos per pull equals 12,160 primos for one character on average. Double that if you lose the 50-50, so 24,320 primos for a limited character. Doing your Genshin dailies gives you 60 primos. If we do 24,320 divided by 60, the amount of days you have to play for one character you want is 406 days, rounded up to the nearest whole number. This is dog shit, and Hoyo knows it. Of course, it won't actually be 406 days, since you get tons of primos from just casually playing, as well as all the free pulls you get from events, mail, or those weird leveling statue things. It adds up, but it's still dog shit. There's been many times where I'll have to lock in on Genshin and play a ton because the character that I really wanted would be on the banner and I'd be broke on primos. It's like playing for your Fortnite battle pass instead of playing for fun. But if you don't want to spend the next 2 to 3 weeks of your life grinding, you go to this screen and spend your money. Remember earlier when I said Hoyo knows what they're doing? This is it right here. They purposefully give you barely anything so that you have a higher incentive to spend your money on the game. And it fucking works, because Hoyoverse makes billions off of this game. I haven't spent too much on the game myself, maybe around like 40 bucks, and half of that is just because I wanted Hutao's outfit. But other than dailies and exploring, one of the best ways to get primos is to play Genshin's dumbass events. Like, especially recently, these events have been so stupid, bro, I could give it its own section. Actually, I'm just gonna do. So, events in Genshin. Events have always only served as filler, and I am very confident that these are made to just waste your time. Whenever there's a filler patch in Genshin, it's almost always centered around some big main event of the patch that has unfun, shit minigames, and a super drawn out shitty story that not only takes way too long to do, but I know will add absolutely nothing to the actual plot of the game. But I gotta do them! because I need those primogems. After doing shitty event after shitty event, I always find myself having less and less patience to do the next one. And I'm not trying to say that the game would be better if events just got removed entirely, that would just make things worse. I'm just saying that they could be better for the players playing them, you know. fun, since a lot of the time I'd get on just to do an event and not have fun. Hoyo just does what works, and filler patches work. I know that filler patches are pretty divided on opinions, cause on one hand, filler patches waste time, like I said before. But for the people that like Genshin's filler patches, they argue that it helps them relax and unwind after a big part in a story, at least from what I've read. I'm more so on the side that I don't like filler patches, but I can understand the other argument. What I'm sure we can all agree on though, is that Genshin gets boring as fuck when Hoyo drops multiple filler patches in a row, which is something they've done multiple times. And I don't mean just a couple filler patches. Look at this. These are from version 3, in my opinion, Genshin's worst version. 3.3 wasn't a filler, but the rest were. You can make an argument for 3.6 since it added more to the desert, but that's the desert, and fuck the desert, so it's a filler patch. That's 5 fillers in a row, so 5 whole ass updates of nothing happening other than new characters being added. And here's version 4. I don't think 4.6 and 4.7 were fillers, and 4.8 being a filler is fine since Natlan came out right after it. But down here, 3 fillers in a row. These are not the only examples. At the time of making this video, which is version 5.5, we're surprisingly not in another filler patch. The gameplay you've been watching this whole time is me exploring the new area they added because I wanted footage. And I will admit I did have fun doing it. But this version also added another big event, which I know is already gonna be stupid and I'm not gonna do it. Event stories have always been shit, but at least none of them are permanent. Unlike the main story of the game. Genshin is the worst story of the 3 Hoyo games by far. Like, it's not even close. The story does have its good moments, of course, like Senora stealing Venti's Gnosis, Kazuha using 2 visions to parry the Raiden Shogun, doing a whole ass Danganronpa trial in Fontaine, and recently the battle with Mavica and the Captain. Those are all hype as fuck, and I'm sure there are other good parts, but these good parts happen in a chapter after hours of pointless dialogue. I'm not sure why, but Genshin absolutely loves their yap fests and they love wasting your time. Is the pacing shit on purpose or something? Like, I don't understand. When something does happen in a quest though, 1% of the time it'll be some sick cutscene with everyone doing cool shit. But the other 99% of the time, they'll just put a black screen down and say, "Fuck you, we're saving money." This happens way too often. And not to say Star Rail and Zenless don't do this either, because they definitely do. This is like Hoyo's signature move. Yap fests and black screens. Honestly, this whole part can just be summed up to the fact that Genshin's story is boring. But I want to show an example of it being bad. Natlan's Act 4. I want to show this one because it was recent, so I remember it better, and also because this Archon quest was actual fucking ass. Usually I'm like half paying attention to this story, but am I the only one who thought that this war arc came out of fucking nowhere? We just got kinda dropped in and I'm left thinking, well, we gotta do this now. I also think this quest has to have some of Genshin's worst moments ever. 3 words. Hot air balloon. Why the fuck was this required? You just wait for like 5 minutes. By the way, this does not happen just once, and each time the ride gets even longer. Like, I would have preferred the black screen at this point. Also, this dialogue exists.
Traveler, this war's getting too much for my mind to take. Okay, let's do this!
What? There's no way a 5-year-old didn't write that. Paimon keeps talking about how there are tons of monsters and how everyone is fighting and how much danger we're in. Like, okay, I can't pretend that there's shit happening anymore. Nobody was fighting and there were like 3 to 4 monsters in each scene max. This cutscene here, this did not happen. This whole war arc was just terrible. Don't even get me started on this Chaska scene. She's just standing there while we fight. And 2 seconds later we get Genshin's cringiest dialogue ever. Now she's sad, but she actually has a secret power, and then she's about to use it and go sicko mode or whatever, but then she doesn't? What was the point of that scene then? It just led to nothing. Okay, I'm done talking about the story quest. As you can see, Genshin's story isn't that great, but there is a piece of the Genshin story puzzle that I've actually always enjoyed about the game, which is the voice acting. Oh wait, they're on strike. If you don't play in English, then this part honestly won't mean shit. But I do. And if you've done any event or story in the last like 8 months, you'll have seen that a big majority of the characters are just not talking while the few others are. In fact, there's more characters who aren't voiced than characters that are voiced at this point. This is because the English VAs have been on strike, fighting for something. AI protections, supposedly. Originally, I thought this would be a good thing, but it's been going on for so long at this point that it's starting to hurt the game itself. Well, I say starting, but it's been hurting the game. I'm someone who really likes looking at who voices who in games and other media, so having such little voices in a game I care so much about has really reduced my enjoyment of it. I'll just address the elephant in the room, the recent recast of Kenichi. Because of all the drama about the recast, a lot of the truth behind the strike is starting to come out, and the rabbit hole for it goes way deeper than it should. I recommend Mujen's video on it since there's so much misinformation on the drama that I cannot explain it. My personal opinion on the recast is that it's a good thing. Even though I love Kenichi's original voice, I'm happy to see him get voiced again. It makes Genshin better, and I'm all for it. But I want to get back to the original statement I made, since I want this video to be focused on the game itself and not the drama. So, having no voices has been making the game a lot less enjoyable. Here's one example. Near the end of the Natlan story, the Traveler and Mavica are supposed to sail this shit together, and it's supposed to be really intense and emotional and shit. But instead, Mavica is just talking alone, and it honestly kills the entire scene.
We won't give up hope. This is where we forge our future with our own 2 hands!
I don't think it needs to be said, but this is not nearly the only time something like this happens. It's very much the norm now, actually, and it's very disappointing. Actually, fuck it. I take back everything I said in the last 2 sections, cause I don't even give a shit about the story anymore. I only really care about the gameplay at this point, so let's talk about it. Genshin's gameplay has seriously been the only thing carrying it for me. Like, you know that one take that the Persona series gets all the time? Best story, best characters, best gameplay? I like ranking the Hoyo games like this too, since I think they fit it pretty well. In my opinion, Star Rail gets best story, Zenless gets best characters, and Genshin gets best gameplay. Like, I know I just hated on Natlan's story super hard, but actually exploring in Natlan was a 10 out of 10. With an asterisk. See, every Natlan character is very exploration based, as well as most of them being top tiers in combat. One of my friends was telling me about how hard it was to explore at first and do the events, since she really does not like the Natlan designs, and she only pulls for the characters she likes, which I think is a good thing, only pulling for characters you like. It's what I do, and this wasn't too much of a problem for me since I like most of the Natlan designs. But in the past, you never felt like you needed characters, only maybe ever like Kazuha or something because he was so good. But in Natlan, every old DPS unit became garbage. Almost all of the new combat content is centered around the Knight's Soul Blessing, something that only Natlan characters can do. Exploration has always been my favorite part of the game, but the Saurians that you have to use instead if you don't have the right character, they suck ass. They're all so slow and so clunky. Going around with Kenichi like Spider-Man feels sick as fuck and he feels good to play. If I didn't get Kenichi or Mavica, I would literally hate this place. When I was originally exploring Natlan, I honestly thought I'd start liking the game again. But exploration is just a part of the game. Aside from all the new shit in Natlan, I want to talk about a system that's been in the game since the beginning. I lied about exploration being my favorite thing to do. My actual favorite thing to do is to build characters. Genshin's combat is fun, but if I use the same setup for every fight, I start getting bored very fast. The main way I've been avoiding burnout is by building and using multiple characters. I don't even care if they're bad meta-wise as long as I like them. But holy shit, farming for artifacts really feels like hell sometimes. There is so much fucking RNG with the artifacts, it's insane. I recently saw Vars's video on the artifact system and I like the way he explained it.
Even if by chance you do get the right artifact piece you want, it might not even belong to the right artifact set. And even if you do get an artifact on the right set, you might not get the right main stat for it. And even if you do get an artifact with the right main stat on the right set, you might not get the right substats. And even if you do get an artifact with the right main and substats on the right set, leveling it might not even increase the substats you want. And even if you do get an artifact from the right set with the right main stat and substats, and the RNG gods were nice enough to put the upgrades into the substats you want, those upgrades can get screwed over by low rolls.
Because you're rolling literally everything about an artifact, you end up spending your whole life in artifact domains. I'll be deadass, I don't even remember the story that well. I only remember doing this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and I can't take it anymore. I'm burnt out. Most of what made Genshin special is really just gone. The game just isn't fun anymore. There are a few other things I do want to briefly mention, like the endgame content and the current Genshin community. Spiral Abyss still sucks, it's still some dumbass boss on floor 12. I didn't even have to play to know that there was something stupid on floor 12, it's always been like that. And the new theater thing they added sucks too. It takes like 2 hours for me to do it because I'll always get stuck on one of the boss stages. And the community is just a lot more toxic now. I remember in early Genshin, everybody would be making that really unfunny Hu Tao joke and stuff like that. Those were the good days. Now everything is just so different. Even after making this entire video, I do think I will eventually return to Genshin. Probably once the game gets completed and Conria is out and stuff. Also, while editing, the 5.6 trailer came out and I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty sick. We're finally going back to Mondstadt, but I'm still not sure if I'm gonna play it or not. It does make me think the game is going in a positive direction, but who knows. This video did kind of just turn to a Natlan rant, but honestly, I think Zumeru was worse. I'll blame the desert. I did try my best to explain my thoughts, but let me know what you think about Genshin as it is now. Also, tell me if you fuck with Link World video essay. This is my first time trying this style. And tell me if you don't fuck with it too. Funny moments will still be a thing. It's not like I'm changing my content or anything. I just wanted to branch out a bit. But yeah, subscribe or some. I'll catch y'all in the next one. I've always wanted to say that.